Have you ever dreamed of picking fresh fruit right from your own backyard, but thought you just did not have the space for fruit trees? Maybe your yard is tiny, maybe you only have a patio or balcony, or maybe you just cannot imagine fitting a full-size tree into your landscape. I completely understand that frustration, but after growing fruit for over 2 decades, I can tell you that some of the most productive fruit trees in the world were made for small spaces. Today, I am sharing 20 fruit trees that deliver incredible harvests without taking over your yard. Stick around for number 18 because it is a tree almost nobody grows that produces an unbelievable amount of fruit. And I have got a bonus tip at the end that is going to help every single one of these trees produce more fruit than you ever thought possible. First up on our list is the dwarf apple tree. And if you are going to grow just one fruit tree in a small space, this might be the smartest choice you can make. Dwarf apple trees grow only 8 to 10 feet tall, which makes them perfect for small yards, patios, and even large containers. Despite their compact size, they can produce a genuinely impressive harvest, often 75 to 100 pounds of fruit per tree once mature. That is enough apples for fresh eating, baking, cider, and sharing with the neighbors. Honeycrisp, Gala, and Fuji are all available on dwarf rootstock and are fantastic producers. Dwarf apples grow well in USD, A zones 3 through 8 depending on the variety. Most apples need a pollination partner, so plan on growing 2 different varieties or look for a self-fertile option like Golden Delicious. Plant in full sun with well-draining soil, and you will be picking your first apples within 2 to 3 years of planting. For the amount of fruit you get from such a small footprint, dwarf apple trees are incredibly hard to beat. The second fruit tree I want you to consider for your small space is the fig tree. And trust me, this one is a game changer. Figs are naturally compact trees that respond beautifully to pruning and container growing. Varieties like Chicago Hardy, Brown Turkey, and Celeste stay manageable in size and produce heavily even in relatively small spaces. Chicago Hardy is especially exciting because it is cold tolerant down to USDA Zone 5, which opens up fig growing to a huge portion of the country. Figs are self-fertile, so you only need one tree, which is a huge advantage in a small space. They thrive in full sun and well-draining soil, and they do wonderfully in large containers that can be moved indoors in cold climates. The thing about figs that makes them so rewarding is the flavor. A fresh, ripe fig picked warm from the tree is one of the most extraordinary tasting experiences in all of gardening. Store-bought figs cannot even come close. Most fig varieties produce 2 crops per year, an early summer crop and a main fall crop. So you get an extended harvest window from a single small tree. Number 3 is a personal favorite of mine, and that is the dwarf peach tree. There is something almost magical about biting into a perfectly ripe, juicy peach that you grew yourself, and dwarf peach trees make that possible even in the smallest yards. Varieties like Bonanza, Garden Gold, and Pixie grow only 4 to 6 feet tall, making them ideal for containers, patios, and tucked into garden corners. Dwarf peaches are self-fertile, so one tree is all you need. They grow best in USD, A zones 5 through 9, and need full sun and well-draining soil. The key with peaches is choosing a variety that matches your chill hour requirements, which is the number of hours below 45 degrees Fahrenheit the tree needs during winter dormancy to fruit properly. Talk to your local nursery or extension office to find the right match for your area. In about 2 to 3 years, your dwarf peach will be producing gorgeous, sweet, juicy fruit that makes you wonder why. You ever bought peaches from the store? Now, what I have been sharing with you today are some of the most productive small space fruit trees you can grow, but they are really just a taste of what is possible. I put together a complete guide that lays the whole thing out for you. It is called the 30-Day Kitchen Scrap Garden Protocol, and it is everything I have learned about regrowing food from scraps, organized into a simple day-by-day plan you can start this week. It covers which scraps are genuinely worth your time, and which ones to skip. It walks you through the exact setup and methods so you are not guessing. And it includes a full 30-day calendar, so you know exactly what to do each day. Click the link in the description right below this video, just scroll down a little and you will see it. Or if you are watching on a television or a computer screen, you can take out your phone, open up your camera like you're going to take a picture, and hold it up to the QR code on screen right now. A little link will pop up at the top of your phone screen. Just tap that, and it will bring you right to the guide. No typing, no searching. Either way works. I think you'll be glad you grabbed it. All right, let us keep going because we have got 17 more amazing fruit trees to cover. The fourth fruit tree for small spaces is the dwarf cherry tree, and cherries are one of the most delightful fruits you can grow at home. Compact varieties like Stella, Lapins, and Compact Stella grow 8 to 12 feet tall and produce beautiful harvests of sweet, dark cherries. Stella and Lapins are both self-fertile, which is a huge plus when you are working with limited space. Sour cherry varieties like North Star are even more compact, growing just 6 to 8 feet tall, and they are outstanding for pies, preserves, and baking. Cherries grow best in USDA zones 4 through 7, depending on the variety, and need full sun and well-draining soil. They bloom early in spring, so frost protection may be needed in some areas. The harvest window for cherries is relatively short, usually 2 to 3 weeks, but the productivity during that window is remarkable. There is nothing quite like picking handfuls of sun-warmed cherries from a tree in your own small yard. Coming in at number 5, we have got the Columnar apple tree, and this is one of the most exciting innovations for small space fruit growing. Columnar apples grow in a tall, narrow column, reaching about 8 to 10 feet tall, but only 2 to 3 feet wide. They barely take up any horizontal space at all, making them perfect for narrow side yards, along fences, or even on a balcony in a large container. Scarlet Sentinel, Golden Sentinel, and North Pole are popular columnar varieties that produce full-sized, delicious apples on these incredibly slim trees. They grow in USDA zones 4 through 8, are self-fertile or need a pollination partner depending on the variety, and produce fruit in about 2 to 3 years. You can plant a row of them just 3 feet apart and create a stunning edible living fence. The concept of a fruit tree that fits in a space barely wider than your shoulders is genuinely revolutionary for small space gardeners. The 6th fruit tree on our list is the Meyer lemon. And if you have any interest in growing citrus, this is the tree to start with. Meyer lemons are a cross between a lemon and a mandarin orange, which gives them a sweeter, more complex flavor than regular lemons. They are naturally compact, growing 6 to 10 feet tall outdoors, and they do exceptionally well in containers where they stay even smaller. In USDA zones 8 through 11, you can grow them outdoors year-round. In cooler zones, grow them in a pot on your patio in summer and bring them inside to a sunny window or sunroom for winter. Meyer lemons are self-fertile and can produce fruit year-round once established. The fragrance of the blossoms alone is worth growing this tree. Add in a steady supply of beautiful, thin-skinned, incredibly flavorful lemons, and you have one of the most rewarding small space fruit trees available. Number 7 is the Kumquat tree. And this little gem is one of the most underappreciated citrus trees for small spaces. Kumquats are naturally small, growing just 6 to 8 feet tall, and they produce an astonishing number of tiny oval fruits that you eat whole, skin and all. The skin is sweet and the flesh is tart, creating this wonderful burst of complex citrus flavor in every bite. Nagami is the most common variety, and it is a fantastic producer. Kumquats are also among the most cold, hardy citrus trees, tolerating brief dips to about 18 degrees Fahrenheit, which means they can be grown outdoors in USDA zones 8 through 11 and in containers everywhere else. They are self-fertile, pest-resistant, and incredibly low maintenance. A single kumquat tree in a container on your patio or in a small garden corner can produce hundreds of fruits in a season. Fresh kumquats are wonderful eaten out of hand, in marmalades, candied, or sliced into salads. The eighth fruit tree that belongs in your small space is the dwarf pear tree, and pears are one of the most elegant and productive fruits you can grow at home. Dwarf pear trees grow 8 to 10 feet tall and produce full-sized, beautiful fruit. Bartlett, Anjou, and Moonglow are all available on dwarf rootstock and are excellent choices. Pears are adapted to USDA zones 4 through 8 and prefer full sun with well-draining soil. Most pears need a pollination partner, so plan on 2 compatible varieties, although there are some self-fertile options available. One important thing to know about pears is that unlike most fruits, they should be picked before they are fully ripe and allowed to finish ripening off the tree. This gives you the best texture and sweetness. A well-maintained dwarf pear tree can produce for decades, giving you bushels of fruit each year from a very small footprint. Number 9 on our list is the dwarf plum tree. And plums are one of those fruits that are absolutely sensational when homegrown, but often disappointing from the grocery store. Dwarf plum varieties like Santa Rosa, Beauty, and Stanley grow 8 to 12 feet tall and produce heavy crops of sweet, juicy plums. European plums like Stanley are often self-fertile, which is a real advantage in small spaces. Japanese varieties like Santa Rosa typically need a pollinator. Plums grow in USDA zones 4 through 9 and need full sun and well-draining soil. They begin bearing fruit in about 3 to 4 years and can produce 50 to 75 pounds per tree once established. Fresh plums, plum jam, dried plums, and plum tarts are all incredible when the fruit comes from your own tree. The 10th fruit tree for small spaces is the dwarf pomegranate. And this is a truly stunning tree that works as both an ornamental and a food producer. Dwarf pomegranate varieties like Nana grow just 2 to 4 feet tall, making them perfect for containers and the smallest garden corners. Wonderful is the most popular full-sized variety, and even it stays manageable at 8 to 12 feet with pruning. Pomegranates are self-fertile, heat-loving, and drought-tolerant once established. They thrive in USDA zones 7 through 11 and do beautifully in hot, dry climates where many other fruit trees struggle. The jewel-like seeds are packed with antioxidants and have a sweet tart flavor that is absolutely addictive. The trees also produce gorgeous orange-red blossoms that attract pollinators. Even the Nana dwarf variety produces small but perfectly edible fruits. Coming in at number 11, we have got the Calamondin orange, and this tiny citrus tree is an absolute superstar for indoor and patio growing. Calamondin oranges are a cross between a kumquat and a mandarin, producing small, round, intensely flavored fruits on a naturally compact tree that typically grows 3 to 6 feet tall. They are one of the best citrus trees for container growing because they tolerate indoor conditions, including lower light levels, better than almost any other citrus. The fruits are tart and aromatic, perfect for marinades, drinks, desserts, and Southeast Asian cooking. Calamondin trees are self-fertile, incredibly productive, and they often flower and fruit year-round. They are hardy in USDA zones 9 through 11 outdoors, but they are honestly at their best as a year-round indoor or patio tree in cooler climates. A single Calamondin can produce dozens and dozens of fruits each year from a pot on your kitchen counter. The 12th fruit tree on our list is the dwarf apricot tree, and fresh apricots from your own tree are an experience that the supermarkets simply cannot replicate. Dwarf apricot varieties like Garden Annie and Puget Gold grow 6 to 8 feet tall and produce sweet, fragrant fruit that melts in your mouth. Most apricots are self-fertile, so one tree is all you need. They grow best in USDA zones 5 through 8 and need full sun and well-draining soil. The one challenge with apricots is that they bloom very early in spring, which means late frosts can damage the blossoms and reduce your harvest. Planting against a south-facing wall helps protect the blooms and gives the tree reflected warmth. A mature dwarf apricot can produce 30 to 50 pounds of fruit, which is an incredible amount, from a small tree. Number 13 is the dwarf nectarine tree. Nectarines are essentially smooth-skinned peaches with a slightly more intense, aromatic flavor. Dwarf varieties like Nectar and Garden Delight grow just 4 to 6 feet tall, making them perfect for patios and containers. They are self-fertile and produce beautiful, blushed fruits that taste like summer sunshine. Nectarines grow in USDA zones 5 through 9 and have similar chill hour requirements to peaches, so make sure you match the variety to your climate. The care is identical to dwarf peaches: full sun, well-draining soil, and good air circulation. In about 2 to 3 years, your dwarf nectarine will reward you with juicy, fragrant fruit that you will crave all winter long. The 14th fruit tree that deserves a spot in your small space is the dwarf mulberry tree, and mulberries are one of the most productive and carefree fruits you can grow. The dwarf ever-bearing mulberry grows just 6 to 8 feet tall and produces sweet, blackberry-like fruits over an incredibly long season, sometimes 3 months or more. Mulberries are self-fertile, disease-resistant, and adaptable to a wide range of conditions. They grow in USDA zones 5 through 10 and tolerate both heat and humidity. The fruit is delicious fresh, in pies, in smoothies, and makes incredible jam. The only challenge with mulberries is that the ripe fruit stains everything it touches, so keep that in mind when choosing a planting location. Avoid planting over sidewalks or patios. But for sheer volume of fruit from a small tree with almost no maintenance, mulberries are hard to beat. Coming in at number 15, we have got the key lime tree, and growing your own key limes is one of the most fun and rewarding things you can do with a small space. Key lime trees are naturally compact, growing 6 to 8 feet tall, and they do exceptionally well in containers. The fruits are smaller and more aromatic than regular limes, with a complex floral acidity that is essential for authentic key lime pie, ceviche, cocktails, and marinades. Key limes are self-fertile and produce prolifically once established. They are hardy in USDA zones 9 through 11 outdoors, but they thrive as container plants in cooler zones when brought indoors for winter. Give them as much sun as possible and keep the soil consistently moist but not waterlogged. A healthy key lime tree in a container can produce dozens of limes throughout the year, and the fragrance of the blossoms is intoxicating. The 16th fruit tree for small spaces is the dwarf persimmon, and this is one of the most beautiful and unique fruit trees you can grow at home. American persimmon varieties like Meyer and Early Golden grow 15 to 20 feet in their standard form, but grafted dwarf varieties and the naturally compact Huw and Giro Asian persimmons stay much more manageable at 8 to 12 feet with pruning. Huw persimmons are non-astringent, meaning you can eat them while they are still firm, like an apple. They have a rich, honey-sweet flavor that is absolutely extraordinary. Persimmons are self-fertile in many varieties and grow in USDA zones 6 through 10 depending on the type. They need full sun and well-draining soil. The trees also have stunning fall foliage, making them a gorgeous ornamental addition to a small yard. Fresh persimmons, persimmon cookies, dried persimmon slices, and persimmon pudding are all incredible. Number 17 is the dwarf banana tree, and yes, you really can grow bananas in a small space. Dwarf Cavendish and Dwarf Red are compact varieties that grow 6 to 8 feet tall and produce full-sized bunches of sweet bananas. They grow outdoors year-round in USDA zones 9 through 11 and make fantastic container plants in cooler zones when brought indoors for winter. Banana plants are not technically trees, they are giant herbs, but they produce fruit like no other plant on this list. They need full sun, rich soil, plenty of water, and consistent warmth. Each plant produces one big bunch of bananas, and then the main stalk dies, but new shoots called pups emerge from the base to continue the cycle. In a warm climate or a sunny indoor spot, a dwarf banana plant produces one of the most impressive and fun harvests you will ever experience from a container. The 18th fruit tree on our list is the Jujube tree. And this is the one I teased at the beginning because almost nobody in America grows jujubes, and that is a real shame. Jujubes, also called Chinese dates, are small fruits that taste like a cross between an apple and a date, with a wonderful, sweet, complex flavor. The trees are incredibly productive, with a mature jujube producing 100 pounds or more of fruit. They stay compact with pruning, naturally growing 12 to 15 feet tall, but easily kept smaller. Here's what makes jujubes truly special for small spaces. They are virtually indestructible. They tolerate drought, poor soil, extreme heat, and cold, down to USDA Zone 5. They have no significant pest or disease problems. They are self-fertile, and they start producing fruit within just 2 to 3 years. Lee and sugar cane are two excellent varieties for fresh eating. The fruit is delicious fresh, dried like dates or candied. Once you taste a fresh jujube, you will wonder how this tree is not in every yard in America. Coming in at number 19, we have got the olive tree. And while olives are not something most Americans think of as a backyard fruit, they are actually outstanding small space trees. Olives are naturally slow-growing and respond beautifully to pruning, making them easy to keep at 8 to 12 feet tall. Arbequina is the best variety for small spaces and home growing because it is self-fertile, compact, and produces a heavy crop of small, flavorful olives. Olives grow in USDA zones 8 through 11 and are incredibly drought-tolerant and low-maintenance once established. They also make stunning container plants and can be brought indoors in cooler climates. Fresh cured olives from your own tree are a completely different experience from store-bought. And you can press your own olive oil if you have enough fruit. The silvery foliage is gorgeous year-round, so an olive tree serves double duty as an ornamental and a food producer. The 20th and final fruit tree on our list is the Pawpaw, and this Native American fruit tree is one of the best-kept secrets in the fruit world. Pawpaws produce large, tropical-flavored fruits that taste like a creamy blend of banana, mango, and custard. The flavor is unlike anything else you can grow in a temperate climate. Pawpaw trees naturally grow 15 to 20 feet tall, but respond well to pruning and can be kept more compact. They are one of the few fruit trees that actually prefer partial shade, making them perfect for those tricky spots in your yard that get less sun. Pawpaws grow in USDA zones 5 through 9 and are native to the eastern United States. They do need a second tree for pollination, so plan on at least 2. Sunflower and Susquehanna are excellent name varieties. Pawpaws have virtually no pest or disease problems and require almost no spraying. The fruit does not ship well, which is why you never see it in stores, but that just makes growing your own all the more special. All right, now here's a bonus tip that is going to change the game for every fruit tree on this list. If you want your small space fruit trees to produce the maximum amount of fruit possible, learn to summer prune. Most people only think about pruning in the dormant season during winter. And dormant pruning is important for shaping the tree. But summer pruning, done in mid to late summer after the main growth flush, is the secret weapon for small space fruit production. When you selectively remove vigorous upright shoots and open up the canopy during the summer, you do 2 things. First, you redirect the tree's energy from making more branches and leaves into developing and ripening the fruit that is already on the tree. Second, you increase sunlight penetration into the interior of the canopy, which improves fruit color, sweetness, and overall quality. Summer pruning also helps keep your tree compact and manageable in a small space. Just remove water sprouts, those vigorous vertical shoots, and any branches that are crossing or crowding the center of the tree. It takes just 10 to 15 minutes per tree, and the impact on fruit quality and productivity is genuinely remarkable. Thanks for sticking around to the end. If you want to stop guessing and start a scrap garden that actually keeps producing week after week, I would really encourage you to check out the guide I put together. It is called the 30-Day Kitchen Scrap Garden Protocol, and it is everything I have learned about regrowing food from scraps, organized into a simple day-by-day plan you can start this week. It covers which scraps are worth your time and which ones to skip entirely. It gives you the exact setup and method so nothing goes to waste. And it includes the full 30-day calendar with daily tasks so you always know what to do next. There are 2 easy ways to grab it. The first is to click the link in the description right below this video. Just scroll down a little and you will see it. The second way, if you are watching on a television or a computer screen, is to take out your phone, open up your camera like you are going to take a picture, and hold it up to the QR code on screen right now. A little link will pop up at the top of your phone screen. Just tap that, and it will bring you right to the guide. No typing, no searching. Either way works. I think it is the best investment you can make in your kitchen garden this year. Thanks so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.